Welcome to the bonus workshop for session 16. If you've made it this far, you have come a long way in your musical journey. I hope you are enjoying your guitar playing and starting to get some real benefit from it. Let's look at what we learned this session. We covered 16th notes. We learned about strumming with 16th notes, with ties, without ties. I also talked about a couple of different rhythm techniques. We talked about muting, and I also talked about that chunking technique. I showed you various types of acoustic guitars, not electric guitars, but acoustic guitars. We learned about gear and also the acoustic guitarist's worst enemy, which is managing feedback. Now, the most important skills I want you to come away from this session are getting the flow of 16th note strumming. There's a flow to it, and that's what I want you to catch. Also, I want you to be able to come away with this, being able to look at a piece of music and to read those 16th note rhythms. They're going to look a little bit different to you. And so we just need to get used to how they look on the page. So let's go ahead and get started. 16th notes are the smallest subdivision of notes that you're likely to see as a guitar player. Now there are 4 16th notes for every one beat. So let's get some practice with these 16th notes. Let me set my metronome. It's going to be at 60 beats per minute. Let's get him clicking off. The first one is accented of each of these. And we're going to do 16th note exercise number 1. Just get some practice with that. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. 8th notes. 16ths. Let's do it. Number 1, again, go. Nice and steady on the... Good. Let's take a look at number 2. Here we go. 1, 2, number 2, go. Let's do it again. Good. Number 3. It's kind of quick, a little bit quicker than we did it actually in the session. Here we go. Number 3. 1, 2, number 3, go. 2. Let's do it again. Go. 2, 3, 4. Very good. Now let's see how 16th notes apply with strumming. Good strumming technique involves a few things. We've talked about these. Keep your wrist loose. Remember, what's the motion? Like you're flicking water off of your hand. That's the motion. With a loose wrist. You don't want to be tight like this, especially now that we're getting faster. Putting it tight doesn't work. Hold your pick firmly. It helps to use a lighter pick when you're doing a lot of strumming. Okay? Third thing, go for smooth, even strumming. You don't want to be choppy or uneven in your strumming. And what's the cardinal rule of all this stuff? The secret to great strumming, what is it? Keep your hand going. Keep your hand going. Okay, now let's look at some exercises. We're going to be working through the bonus workshop exercises for session 16. These and many other resources are available to you online at learnandmasterguitar.com/resources. Now, let's get some practice strumming with these basic strumming bonus exercise. Take a look at these. They're in the bonus resources, session 16. We're just going to focus on the rhythms first. So let's play all of these on a C chord. Okay, so this isn't meant to be music. We're going to try and get these rhythms down. Let's start with number 1. Let me turn my metronome back on. Here we go. Number 1, 1, 2, C chord, and ready, go. Two, do it again, and ready, go. 2, 3, 4. Let's do number 2. 1, 2, number 2, and go. Down, down, up, down, down, up. Repeat that. Two, 3, 4. Okay, let's take a look at number 3. Let me get my metronome started here again. Number 3. 1, 2, well, let me wait till it cycles around. 2, ready, play. Again. Now, number 3 is a good one to practice keeping your hand going. We're going to do number 3 one more time. Keep that hand going. That means on those 8th notes, those are going to be downstrokes, all of them, instead of ups. Okay? So let's try number 3 one more time. Keep that hand going. Remember, it's down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Ready, go, and. One more time. Good. Number 4, 2, ready. Number 4. Again. Okay. Now let's take a look at number 5. Let's stop the metronome here. Look at that rhythm. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Up, down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Up, down, up, down, up. We won't use the metronome on this one. Let's just do it nice and slow. 1, and 2, and go. 1. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Great. Let's take a look at the last one, number 6. Now I really messed the rhythm up. Down, down, up, down. Up, down, up, down, up. Down, up, down. Here we go. Number 6. 1, and ready, go. Down, down, up, down. Up, down, up, down, up. Down, up, down. Down, up, down. Up, down, up, down, up. Do it again. Very good. Now, let's kick it up a notch, and we're going to add some different chords and some ties to these rhythms. Let's look at the advanced strumming bonus exercises. We're going to vary up the rhythms and the chords. So we're going to start nice and slow. We're going to begin with number 1. I'm not going to do the metronome on these, since these kind of get a little bit trickier. Number 1, 2, ready, go. Down, down, up, up, down. Do it again. Do it a little bit faster. One more time. Good. Now let's take a look at number 2. Here's a kind of a variation on our main rhythm. Down, up, down, 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 up, down. 2. A2 starts at go. F sharp minor 11. Repeat it. Two, 3, 4. Kind of varied up the rhythm there on my strumming a little bit on the last time. Here, let's take a look at number 3, exercise 3. Now these last two start to use some movable chords. We add some of the bar chords into them. Take a look at number 3. Starts on a C minor 7th, D minor 7th, E flat major 7th. I do use that form, and then back to D minor 7th. 1, 2, ready, go. Rest, rest. Keep your hand going. One more time, a little faster, go. Very good. Number 4, B flat major 7th. Probably use that form down there. C minor 11th. Reach over, get that bar down. G minor 7th. Probably E flat major 7th, maybe something like that. What's that rhythm? Da 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 da. Here we go. Number 4, 2, B flat major 7th, ready, go. Does it again. C minor 11th, and does that again. E flat major 7th. A little bit faster, and rest. 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 G minor 7th. E flat major. B flat major 7th. Very good. If you could keep up with me on that, you are going pretty good with all those. Let's take a look at a song. One of the songs we had in our book, we had 3 jam-along songs for this session in the book that was on page 87 in our book. Open up to the first one, Rolling Along, and I will talk you through it. This one starts out on a G2. Let's take a look at these chords first. G2, or we can also use this version of it, 2. Then we have a C2. Then what do we have? We have a D2, C2, E minor 7th. Then we have another D2, C2, A minor 7th. And then a D sus. You know, here's another really hip way to play a D sus. Just like a C chord, but moved up 2 frets. That one's for free. That's a hip way to play a D sus. Okay, here you go. Rolling Along. I'm going to play it first before we turn on the track. And let's look at the first rhythm of that first measure in that first line of Rolling Along. Starts on that G2. Down, up, down, up, down. Just see if you can get that first measure. Let's slow it down a little bit. Down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down. You do it. Keep that hand going. Your hand is down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Do it again. See how that works? Okay, now that we have the rhythm in our head, let's look at that first line of Rolling Along. I'll play it with you. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Next measure. Now C2. Here comes line 2. Repeats back. Line 1. C2 chord here. Second line. Here comes that D2. Rest, rest. 3, E minor 7th, and third line now, D2. Make that nice and short. A minor 7. D sus, and then it repeats back up to the top. Okay, before we play it all together, let's talk over the form of the tune. The tempo that we recorded it at when we did this is quarter note equals 78 beats per minute. Now, if we call the first repeated section A and the second section B, then look at the form with the repeats and everything. It would end up being A, then that repeats A, then we have the B section, AAB, and then it does the whole thing again, AAB. So the form of the tune is AAB, and then that's repeated, AAB again. Okay, are you ready to go? Let's fire up the track this time, and we're going to play along together. 2, ready, go. C2. Keep that hand going. Next line. Then it repeats back. Line 1. C2. Keep that hand going. Goes the next line there, second line. Here comes that D2. E minor, now we do it strumming again. Nice and short here. Then back to strumming on this A minor. Hold that D sus. Back to line 1. Line 1, ready, go. There you go. C2. Nice and even strumming. Second line. Back to the G2, line 1. Try to get used to the flow of that strum. C2. Keep that wrist loose. Second line. Here we go, D2. Nice and short, C2. Back to strumming, E minor 7. Third line. A minor. Let's do that new D sus. G2, go. Great job, great job. Okay, now let's look at another song. Let's look at the second jam-along song for this session. It's in your book on page 88 called A Little Bit Rocky. Okay, this one is a little faster, and the chords come a little bit quicker, so you have to pay attention to the various rhythms that are introduced. Let's look at this first line of A Little Bit Rocky. We have an A. Nothing too stressful there, G. Then we have our old friend, down, down. But now we add that sus in the middle of this rhythm. That's kind of a tough measure. Let's just do that measure together. Ready, go. Down, up, down, up, down. Do it again and slow it down a little. Okay, that measure, that same rhythm occurs later on in that measure. Let's take a look at line 2. We have A again, G, B minor. Got to do the bar there. Then we have an A, back to a B minor. So that rhythm, as it's written on the page, would be actually the same rhythm as the D rhythm. Now, how guitar players normally play things like that is we don't go all the way to the A. We just take these 3 fingers off and we still leave the bar on, which is actually kind of an A with a B in the bass, which we'll learn about in later sessions. That's more of a characteristic way to play that. Lots of common songs use that kind of rhythm, and going off these, you're just taking the 3 fingers off and back on again. Then we go through G, A, and we're back to that. Then we repeat back to line 1. Then it plays through that again. We have the B minor in line 3. G5, good old power G5. Back to B minor, G2. Then it repeats the whole thing again. We end up on a D5. Okay, now let's talk over the form of the tune. The tempo when we recorded this was 92 beats per minute. If we call the first repeated section A and the second section B, then the form would be, almost like the last one, AAB. First section twice, that's repeated, and then the third line would be like the B section. And the track plays through this tune 3 times. Okay, before we fire up the track, let's go ahead and play through it together first. We'll slow it down a little bit. 1 and 2 and ready, go. A, G, D, second line, B minor, now see what we did there on that B minor. You can go back down to just the A with the B in the bass there, and back to the B minor on that. Let's try it one more time. Let me slow it down a little bit more. That still is a little quick. 1 and 2 and keep your hand going. Second line. Or and the last line is pretty straightforward. Okay, now we're ready to fire up the track. And let's see if we can play it all together a little bit faster on the track. 2, 3, 4. Second line. Then it repeats back. Line 1. It's okay to really whack it through here. Nice and strong. Line 2. B minor. Then it repeats. Back to line 1. B minor. Third line. If I want to mute, I could probably mute there. Okay, we're going to go through it one more time. Kind kind of breaks it down a little. Line 2. Repeats this back to line 1. I'm going to get a little bit looser with the rhythm here. Line 2. Line 3. D5. Now you'll notice the third time I went through that, I got a little bit busier with the rhythm. That's okay. You don't have to play these exactly 100% of the time. Remember, you're going to be doing these in songs, and perfection on chord playing, it's more important that you get the rhythm and flow of it than to exactly play the exact same rhythm all the time. That almost sounds boring, so you need a little bit of variation in there. Here's one thing I also wanted to bring up on this song. This song is a stronger song. Sometimes when you're playing, you can't be too soft with your strumming. It just ends up, it just doesn't have the oomph that it would have if you played it strong. It's okay to hit your guitar strong. Your guitar can take it. Many people approach strumming way too light, and they end up with this kind of a very noisy kind of a sound, rather than just going ahead and whacking the guitar like it was meant to be played. Oh, a little bit of a chunk there. Remember we talked about chunks in the session? Okay, now that's a lot of strumming for this song. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Okay, to close this out with this bonus workshop, take a look at this fun little riff we put down in Electric Funk on page 88 of your book. Now this one uses a much shorter, choppier rhythm, and it mixes in some of the single notes, get you a little practice on some of those single notes, 16ths. So let me talk you through that first line of stuff. We have a G5. Remember our power chords from a couple sessions back? An F2. Now, that's kind of an open F2. There is this bar F2, but I'm going to use the open one with that open G in the middle. And the rhythm is real short. Down, up, and then mute it off, choke it off right after that. Okay? Second line, let's talk about the second line. First line repeats a couple times, then we get to the second line, we have a couple of 16th notes. Look at that rhythm. Let's play that first measure together of that second line. Ready? Go. Slow. And it kind of has a little bit of a swagger in the 16th notes. Da-ba-doo-dot rather than dot-dot-dot-dot. Da-ba-doo-dot. Kind of has a little bit of a swing feel to it. And then we go right into the chord. So if we went into the chord, it would be... Continuing on. Now, I like to mute this down here with my palm. Get a little bit of that right hand muting thing happening. Okay, let's call this first section A. The first section of this tune, line 1, would be A, and the second section would be B. So the form would be A, B, B, and the track plays through the tune 2 times. The tempo is 92 beats per minute. So I'm going to play it first, and then we'll start the track. So I'm going to play it first. Here we go. 1, you play it with me, nice and slow. Ready, go. Just stays on that F2, G5. There you go. Okay, now we're going to fire up the track. Starts with 2 bars of a drum loop, and then we come in. So here we go. There it is. Here we go. Second line. Back to line 1. Nice and hard. Repeats. Choke those chords off. Line 2. Very good. Okay, let me encourage you for a minute. If you have gotten this far into the course, then congratulations. Most people don't get this far. You are one of the few that actually have stuck with it, and you are the one that's actually going to reap the benefits of sticking with it. You have gone the extra mile to get this far. Most people exit, usually after the first mile. They either quit or they rush on ahead thinking that they have gotten the material when actually they're just fooling themselves into thinking that if they've watched the DVD, then they've actually learned how to play guitar. Well, watching a guitar DVD doesn't make you into a guitar player. I hope you've realized that by now. I've watched many of exercise videos from the comfort of my couch, probably with a bowl of ice cream. But it's those of you who have stuck around for the second mile that actually get the rewards that everyone is looking for. I have found that it's not always the ones who are great at the beginning that end up crossing the finish line in guitar or in many other things in life. There are some things in life that are only found on the second mile. Thanks for sticking with it. You are the one that will get the reward that you desired when you first started all this. Keep up the great work, and I'll see you next time. Okay, here's some tips for learning this material that we've covered here in session 16. First one, start the rhythms slowly. Don't try to rush through a particular rhythm. Take it slow. Make sure that you are getting the rhythm correct. That's the most important thing, that you are getting the rhythm correct. So slow it down. How slow do I need to go? As stinking slow as you need to get your hand going down, up, like it's supposed to. Then you can always speed it up as fast as you want. But if you never get the rhythm, you'll try all day to get it fast and it'll never work. Second thing, keep the down-up flow of your hand. Your strumming will never sound smooth until you keep your hand going and play the rhythms with the proper up and down strokes. I know you can play the rhythm with everything doing down, but if you do that, it's going to end up sounding choppy. If something is tricky, then slow it down. Once you have the feel of it, then try to not look at the music anymore. Try to play it without looking at the rhythm. Try starting it. Try stopping it. Get used to ending a rhythm and then jumping right into a strumming rhythm. Again, it's kind of like you ever been jumping rope, and you have to get the right timing in order to jump into the cycle of it. That's what this is with chord work. Smooth and even strumming is the goal at this stage. Keep up the great work. Okay, for this session, you're ready to move on when you can play all of the strumming patterns in the book and in the bonus resources at a moderate pace of 72 beats per minute. I'm not interested in speed at this point. I want you to accurately get the rhythms. You're ready to move on when you have played through all of the songs in this session, which are these three, several times through. When you can do these things, then you're ready to move on to the next session where we'll be going beyond the first position and into some exciting ways to play scales and into soloing. So I'll see you there.